This is what we're making today. Universal Peace. Universal Peace is based off of a real Chinese dish called 8 Treasures rice. So the first thing we're making is a red bean paste, which is going to be one of our 8 treasures. So what we did here is we took some red beans and boiled it for 2 hours. After 2 hours, we're going to strain the beans from the water. Don't throw away the liquid, we're simply going to set it aside temporarily. What we're going to do next is we're going to take all of our beans and then mash it. While I mash my beans, this is where I remind you to smash that like button and hit the notification bell for new videos. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It's at the bottom right of your screen. After mashing the beans, we're going to add it back with the liquid and add 300 grams of brown sugar. We're going to give this a quick mix, bring it to a boil, and reduce the water even more. We want to reduce this to almost dry so that the bean paste will hold its shape. We're going to boil this for another hour. After an hour, when you get the right consistency, we're then going to throw it into a blender. In the blender, we're going to puree this. We're going to puree it until it has a smooth texture. Right now, it may seem a little wet because it's still hot, but once it cools down, it will thicken and dry up. So keep that in mind when you're reducing the water. This is 2 cups of glutinous rice. We're going to wash the rice in the sink until the water runs clear. Just like in our previous videos, when cooking glutinous rice, this is the most important step. If you don't wash your glutinous rice properly, it becomes very starchy and mushy, and we don't want that. You can apply this concept to most rice. Just in general, washing off all the starch gives the rice a much better texture. After washing the rice, we're then going to throw it into the rice cooker. We're going to fill it up with water and then let it cook. Every rice has a different water to rice ratio. For this one, it's 1.25 to 1. While our rice cooks, we're going to deal with our second treasure. After peeling this carrot, we're going to cut it into thirds. Then, we're going to create a little incision gap right in the middle. This will force the carrot to bend when you put pressure on it, which then will go around the bowl. You'll see what I mean later. After cutting the carrot, we're going to cook it off a little bit. We're going to glaze the carrot to give it a little shine and to soften it up. In a pan with a little bit of oil, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of honey. Then, we're going to throw our carrots in there, saute it for about 1 minute. After 1 minute in the pan, we're going to set the carrots aside and let the residual heat cook it all the way through. These are our 8 treasures. The first treasure are dried lotus seeds. We're going to soak this in warm water for 30 minutes. These are dried plums. We're going to do the exact same thing. These are orange peels. We're also going to soak it in water, and yes, they are edible. As for the goji berries, we're simply going to soak it for 5 minutes. Along with our 8 treasures are some nuts, our red bean paste, our carrots, and our special ingredient, golden raspberries. I waited months to get a hold of these. And now that I have them, I'm going to make sure that I make every single Genshin dish with a berry in it. Once our rice is cooked, we're simply going to throw it into a bowl. Then, with the rice, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of lard or vegetable shortening and 3 tablespoons of sugar. We're going to give this a good mix, ensuring that the lard and the sugar coats all of the rice, and then set it aside for 10 minutes to cool down. While the rice is cooling, we're going to place some lard into the bowl and spread it all around. This will prevent the rice from sticking to the bowl when we create our design. Now let's plate. After resting this for about 15 minutes at room temperature, we're now going to cut through it. It's actually holding its shape quite well and it's quite dense inside. After opening it up, you should be able to see all 8 treasures. Now, before tasting this, I really didn't know what to expect because I've never made this dish before. But after tasting it, what this reminds me of, at least for the texture, is the sticky rice that you find wrapped in banana leaves in dim sum places. But to be more specific, for you Filipinos out there, this tastes like suman. Suman is a sweet sticky rice dish wrapped in banana leaves that's dipped into sugar. And this is exactly what that reminds me of, except it's got 8 treasures. Now, out of all the 8 things that we put in here, the red bean paste is definitely my favorite. The lotus seeds, they taste like nuts, so I guess it's just another nut in there. The carrots are nice, it's sweet and has a little bit of a bite. As for the goji berry, the dried plum and the dried tangerine peel, they're pretty good, but honestly, the golden raspberries does not go well with this dish. The freshness of the fruit gives a sweet sour taste to it, which I feel does not match the flavor profile of this dish. And that concludes another Genshin dish. Thanks for watching, everybody.